So welcome, welcome, welcome to the session for healing the divine wound. We're going to see where it takes us. What these kinds of sessions are, I could describe as active listening or surrendered listening. Where I'm tuning into the divine, which is us, which is part of us, showing, mirroring ourselves back to ourself. But we're first in this group space, this womb-like sacred space between time, out of time, in time. So I just want you to take a moment. Yeah. And there's the divine beings. It doesn't matter if you sense them, you may or may not. They're showing up. So many of our helpers, of our assistants, of us, our higher selves are there, our past lives are there, our future self is there. Past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in a dimensional scale. And so they're welcoming us, and we welcome them right back. Because just by showing up to do this kind of healing, we're intending for help. We're intending to actively listen in this group. So we welcome the Divine Mothers, of course, who are really going to be working with us all month long. Divine Fathers, Christ consciousness, whose purpose really is to bring more Christos, more crystalline energy into our organic system. Welcome, Mother Earth. Yep. Is there a moon thing going on? Because the moon, Sister Moon is here. So welcome, Bridget, who was here the other day. It's a couple of days after Imbolc, but Bridget is here. She's a fiery Celtic goddess. So welcoming them all. But the one thing I want to really acknowledge and give you a taste of is the Angel Jophiel. I've been working with the Angel Jophiel since I was a teen, but didn't really know it. So we're going to bring the Angel Jophiel into your system on the count of 3. And what she's going to do is come in through your crown, into your heart. And it may feel like a tingle. It may feel like a sparkle. You may not feel anything at all. Don't worry about it. So she's coming in on the count of 3, 2, 1. There we go. And asking her to amplify her energy for just a beat or two. There we go. And she's subsiding. And to me, it feels just like a warm hug, like a piece of yourself just hugged you, because the angelic realm, the Elohim, are us, just in a higher consciousness form. So thank you, Angel Jophiel. She is the angel of illuminating beauty within. Of course, she's working with us. She's helping us see our divine qualities that we've forgotten, but they're there. They're still there. They're just hidden underneath all the conditioning. And the next thing we're going to do is physicalize this divinity within our bodies. You're welcome to do it on your end. What we're going to do is chant the sound of Om 3 times. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in, and on the out breath, chant the sound of elongated Om. Om is the sound of the divine. And what this does is it physicalizes it in our body, and it specifically massages our nervous system. Yeah, so anytime you feel like you need a little pick-me-up, this is a great exercise to do. Ready? First breath in. Om. Second breath in. Om. And the third breath in. Om. I don't know if you noticed how that brings a more felt sense, a more physicalized sense of the divine, which to me presents as stillness, as silence, that ever present peaceful quality that can be somatic when we use our breath to massage our physical systems from the inside out. So thank you. Thank you for doing that with me, whether you did it on your own end or allowed it just to flow in, around, and through you. So I'm just going to take a moment to kind of sense in. Yeah. So we're just going to do some grounding. We also do this every single session. I call it universal grounding because, again, it helps us remember that we are a bridge, that the earth is our anchor, that the cosmos, the divine, is our spirit, it's our wisdom, it's our truth, and to become a bridge for them both. There's a sacred geometry to it that is a toroid, this spin that you see when you stir up water. Our energies, when we're in the flow, can be a giant toroidal field. The earth is a toroidal field connected to the cosmos. So let's take a moment and put our focus on our lower half, right in our root chakra. And for those of you who've never done this work before, I'm going to take a moment and upgrade your grounding cord. Because your grounding cord is calibrated to when you first came into the earth. Whew. So upgrading it and updating it is like upgrading and updating an app. It gives us a higher frequency ability to connect. Solidify those grounding, this new high frequency grounding cord now. There we go. And those of you who already have an updated upgrade, just updates it a little bit more, because the way we connect to the earth is changing by the moment. We've got solar flares coming in from the sun. We've got planetary alignments. Right now, this month is a really rare planetary alignment where there's 6 planets all lined up. You can go outside right now if you have a clear sky and physically see them with the naked eye. But coming up in the end of February, there's going to be something called a 7-planet alignment. What that does is it opens up a crack in the dimensions for us to access this higher consciousness. We also have Age of Aquarius, Pluto's doing things, Chiron is the wounded healer is in its return. I mean, there's just so many things lined up. The Chinese New Year, shedding old skin, the year of the wood snake. There's just so many things lined up. And the wood snake is about divine feminine. It's that kundalini coil that wants to arise within us. So we have so much help around us. Like, Melissa, our participants were talking about earlier how when we connect to life, life answers, even if we didn't know what that answer is, because we trust. We're in the flow. So that's conscious alignment. And it's only achievable when we do the work that gets all the kind of flotsam and debris and what I call conditioned consciousness of separation, because separation says, I'm this, I'm fear, I'm anger, I'm grief, I'm pain, I'm mistrust, I'm unsafe. Those are all separation pieces. When you're in the flow of oneness, oneness says, I am, and there's nothing after that. It's fearless, it's timeless. But it takes work to even start accessing it. And so this is your opportunity to meet your divine helpers and to show up. And as you show up, they show up for you. Okay, beautiful. Every time I'm talking, something behind the scenes is going on. They were doing more work. And now I'm going to clear out a little piece of your root chakra, because what's going on in our collective right now is really disruptive. There we go. Mind is also clearing your astral field, setting your amygdala, clearing any mental body imprints, any emotional disruptions. There we go. You sense a deepening peace, an accessible inner stillness. Wonderful. That is your true nature. So let's drop that deeper. All right, we're going to extend this grounding cord all the way through the chair or the ground or the floor, into the sub-basement, into the top layers of the earth, through the various geological layers of the earth, the rock, the granite, the water tables, all the way to the center of this molten core, where the heart of Gaia, our Earth Mother, lives. Some see her as this warmth, this heart that you can connect to, or this crystalline ball, and we're going to plug into her like a light socket, more appropriately like an umbilical cord. As we do so, like an umbilical cord, we're being fed light codes of remembrance. Because when we're in this womb, being reborn as an infant, and we're in this womb of transformation where we're being reborn in remembrance of our earth connection, of our cosmic connection, these light codes, when we stretch down, have a different kind of resonance that grounds us in the timeless, that grounds us in the eternal, that grounds us in this thing called consciousness that some have named God. But I don't use the term God because God has so much baggage. You know, we've humanized it, conditioned it to have an identity out there. So I just say source, or they, source. Source, consciousness, God, all one and the same. Divine Mother, just an expression of this great mystery. Earth, just an expression of this great mystery. There we go. So she was creating, Mother Earth, a lovely blend of light codes for this healing. Okay, so it's going to enhance our ability to sense the divine more within our physical body. So we're going to pull this up into our feet, and then from there on, it's going to go cellular, molecular, into the cells, to the atoms, into the quarks, to kind of have a chain reaction, because you have trillions of cells, and cells are really the distribution factory of our bodies. So we're going to pull it up into our feet, throughout our physicality, into our fascia and tissue and bones and the blood and oxygen, ankles, shins, calves, knees, thighs, coming into our pelvic area, our genitals, to our lower organs, stomach, the digestive system, up into our kidneys, liver, pancreas, gallbladder, spleen, up into our rib cage, following the energetic spine, to our lungs, sternum, breastplate, our heart, higher heart, thymus, shoulders, down each of our arms, elbows, forearms, hands, palms, electrifying those massage hands, back up into your shoulders, following the spine into your neck, your thyroid, your throat, your face, your skull, your hair, and stretching up through the top of your skull, past your upper chakras, your soul star. We're stretching it even further through the galaxy, to other galaxies, up into what's called the great sun, which is the sun, or this pure light of existence, untouched by man, which means untouched by conditioning is going to start filtering down. We've been fed by the blessed divine earth, bringing in this liquid nutrition or luminescent nutrition of light codes that help remind our body of its divinity. And now we're going to pull down this infusion of light codes to mix with it. Oh goodness, I can't think of, there's an example that they're showing me when we were kids where we mixed, well, the obvious thing is hair color, but not everybody colors their hair. When you mixed two different liquids and they become totally different when you combine them. They're saying you should have taken that physics class, Betty, and no, I did not. I took earth science. So yeah, two liquids meeting, joining into one. So we're pulling down this liquid light of pure grace. Yeah, coming into our crown. I don't know if you can sense it. It's like beautiful, crystalline light. Yep, some Christos, some Christed light coming in. But it's even older than Christ. This pure light that some call grace, coming into our brains and down into our throat, following our spinal cord, entering our shoulders, arms, hands, back up into our throat, higher chest, the thymus, that all-important thymus. Some call that your spiritual heart, down into your lungs, physical organ of the heart, midsection, rest of your organs, your belly button, which is a source of connecting to the outer world. Doing a little clearing there. Down into your guts, pelvic girdle, each of your legs, feet, and all the way to the center of the earth, where these two again are mixing in a sacred geometric crystalline infusion. Looks to me like this toroidal field that I was talking about earlier. And allow that to integrate for just a beat or two. This alone was worth showing up for. It's a recalibration, a realignment. I call this universal grounding, and we do whole sessions of that. The next one is on the 13th. So it's literally 10 days from now. We'll spend the whole time doing this. And each time we meet in any of the other sessions, or even in a personal session, we spend time doing this. Why? Our bodies, our physical bodies, are the last to wake up. So this was kind of a light body infusion of remembrance. Adding a spark of memory to your cells. Cellular memory of its own divinity. And divinity really is just a sacredness, a holiness. Christ consciousness represented, Christos existed before the physical expression that we call Jesus. He was an ancient bearer of light, capital Krystof. So our system remembering its Christ consciousness, its Christos, its light, its crystalline form. So this is a light infusion of remembrance that needs to happen gradually, incrementally. Yeah, thank you. So now sensing in to see what the divine wants to provide for us today as we gather in this sacred time of manifesting intention. hope. Okay? So the divine says there is a distinctive lack of hope. What is hope, right? But this ephemeral, ethereal thing that you can't really grasp that takes faith. But it's also based on experience. We have hope because things in the past worked out for us. But we also have projections of, okay, here's what I want in the future. Now there's a formula to conscious creation. And why is this a part of today? Because there are divine wounding, our trust in our own divinity has shuddered, has darkened, or even shadowed our ability to have faith in this eternal gift manifesting. So what we're going to do today is restore a level of hope in our system. I don't know how the divine is going to do it. Just bear with me as I tune in. So it's going to restore hope. And usually when we bring in something positive like that, and we were talking about this earlier, I love when you talk and you share your stories, because they inevitably turn up in our sessions. There are a couple people who shared their personal stories that, when they asked for something, boom, it appeared, and maybe not even in the way that they asked for, but they had faith, and there was also hope. So here, in order to really continuously believe and trust in that hope, we need to remove that piece of human conditioning or a section or pattern or layer, because it's usually networked, intertangled with something else that is dimmed, darkened, shadowed our ability to really trust in hope. Yeah, so it's a trust issue. Ooh, as soon as I said that, it just lit up. There's a trust issue. It says, when I have hoped before, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to list this and this and this. I can actually hear you doing it right now, or sense that you're doing it right now. There's a trust issue, or specifically mistrust. That when you've asked and it wasn't materializing, that dimmed your ability to hope again. But Source is saying, your human conditioning asked. When you ask from a place of fear, what inevitably happens is you're not fully trusting. And so then you're kind of canceling out what you even asked for. And then the second part of this equation, you have to let go of the conditions of how and where and when it shows up. So when we're really controlling and saying, here's what I want, here's when it should show up, God, and here's the parameters. So of course we're self-sabotaging, right? So mistrust is a form of self-sabotage, doesn't really understand the universal formula of manifesting. And we'll go into that detail in our course, Conscious Creation, if that's what appeals to you. You can do this all on your own. You can replay this 5 times a week for the next couple of weeks, and it's going to create more and more and more. Why? Because you're choosing, you're intending, you're showing up. So right now we're going to go into that mistrust that's tied to self-sabotage. And again, that self-sabotage could be anything. It could be the way you ask, it could be your mistrust, it could be some wound underneath. For everyone, it's different. We're going to go into that right now, and it feels for some of you like it's right in your heart. You got stabbed in the heart again. Yeah. Oh, yep. Could be a broken relationship. Could be wounding from something romantic, or even something that fell through in your life that you really believed in or wanted to believe in. Oh, there we go. Wow, we have so much help here. Because as soon as I focused in on that, oh yeah. So there's an angel called Gula who comes in, and I work with her on occasion, and she's literally a shadow healer. So as soon as you bring up the shadow, but you have to bring it up, you have to focus in, you have to have it fully engaged in your system. She meets it and goes, sucks it away like a vacuum cleaner. She's an amazing, amazing deity, a goddess. So she just showed up, and we also have Durga. Thank you, Kali. If you're familiar with the Hindu Kali, she is a massive eater of our well, excuse my language, shit or stuff. You know, and Kali shows up in your life. She's a destroyer. She destroys things that no longer serve you. So these goddess forms are us. They're representatives that our ancestors called upon. Our witches, the pagan community, the shamans still do. The form of spell casting. So I'm going to put in structures on this mistrust that self-sabotages. So that's what we're going to work on. We're restoring hope by transforming mistrust. Or we're transforming mistrust to restore hope. Doesn't matter, they're interchangeable. And these structures go throughout all space and time. There's all different kinds. By the time I told you what they were, it would already be done. I'm working with what's called Trinity Essence. Trinity Essence. You have Mother, Father, spirits. You have all sorts of representations of Trinity. There's a sacred triangle of Trinity. There's numerology in Trinity. Trinity has such sacred potential. Yeah, this is pretty deep. There's a section of this again that stretches all the way down to thousands of years ago. Wow, that really hated something in the human condition. And it's not showing me because for each of you is different. And I say hated something in the human condition because when we look at divinity, divinity itself it just is. It's everything. It doesn't create the wounding. It is the human condition that has shifted off into patriarchy. It is the human condition that labels things. It's the human condition that has expectations, that sees light and dark and good and bad. In duality, that is the separation itself. So there's something in your human condition way back that just hated. Maybe it hated other humans. Maybe it hated God. Imagine if, and here's one example, you were a human sacrifice. Of course, there were communities that used human bodies as sacrifice. Here, God, give me what I want. Here's a virgin, or here's a child, or here's a a sheep, or whatever. It's blood sacrifice. Doesn't make sense now, does it? But it did then. And so there's a part of some of you that says, I don't trust God because why would God do this? Well, God didn't do it, man did. So these are some of the elements that stretch back into his story that we're still holding on to. And this hate contributes to a mistrust that when you mistrust at that deep, 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 deep level, and you don't even know it, it's hidden, you have a tendency to self-sabotage. Me holding up my hand. Not that long ago, people were telling me, hey, Betty, why do you put yourself down so much? Well, I have this hate, self-hate. I have this mistrust. I have this self-sabotage. I'm working through stuff along with you. I don't put myself up on a pedestal, and please don't do it for me. I'm in these sessions just like you. I have these gifts. Doesn't make me infallible. In fact, it makes me very much human. I'm there with you. There we go. And because we're talking about it, Gula, the goddess Durga, their Kali. There we go. Oh, Bridget. Thank you, Bridget. Bridget is known as a warrior. She's coming in with a sword, with fire, a burning sword. You know, it is these symbols that we have now because they're the only thing that's left over from our ancient roots. They may be symbolic, but they're very real. They're very real as energy, as vibration, not in memory, as reality. This hatred is subsiding now. And this hatred is again tied to some form of human wounding associated with some form of divine, like divine blame. And I'm going to point this out once and then I'm going to move on. We've had many lifetimes where we've been both victim and both perpetrator. The hardest thing to clear is the times when you were a perpetrator, when you actually went in and you were the one that other people hated because of your actions. We don't tend to think about that. But if we don't think about that, if we don't allow our minds to go into that, if we don't free the guilt and the shame that is held there, it still clings to us. It still contributes to the way we feel about ourselves. It still contributes to this mistrust deep, deep, deep down. An element then that then tends to self-sabotage and it comes out of nowhere and we don't even know. And we try to blame these external forces in our current life when they have ancient roots. There we go. Okay. Well, that was a quick little healing. Clearing anything, transforming, transmuting, transfiguring, anything else that serves you. Again, this, I'm going to put structures in that if you replay this, you'll pick up right where it left off and get a deeper layer. Because trust me, human hatred, we could probably chip away that with different aspects of that till the day we die. Human hatred has different aspects, different way it's utilized, different wounding, again, perpetrator, victim. But this particular piece of human hatred was pointed at mistrust that tends to self-sabotage, that prevented you really having faith and ultimately hope. That hope is fueled by trust, right? Do you see how all these go together? There's a part of you that deep down, when you try and manifest something or create something within your reality, here's my desire, here's what I want in life, God, please give me this. Deep, deep, deep down, that doesn't particularly trust it. And when we zeroed in with the help of the divine, pointed at this hatred, this mistrust, this that led to self-sabotage. Okay, beautiful. Okay, putting in integrating structures. When we work dimensionally, we have to integrate because dimensionally we recognize that those past life experiences contribute to who we are now, that contribute to who we are becoming. So when we shift it all, like we took out this puzzle piece or we shortened that one or reshaped this one, now all those puzzle pieces don't even know how to fit together again. And here we are left out of sorts. How do you know? Well, you're going to experience it directly. You're going to be tired. You may feel spacey. You may have things arise, you may get irritated or emotional, you're integrating. So we're just going to give it a little help by actually taking time to integrate. Integrating in all space, all time, all realities, all dimensions, all fields, all realms. Physicalizing, catching everything up. Just going to do a general integration because I really want to get into repatterning. Yeah, a lot of things falling back into place. There we go. And when we integrate, usually more in depth, we go into the brain, the nervous system, call them out. We give our intention, we give our focus. These are some of the things we're going to talk about in creating, in conscious creating. The more specific we can get with the divine, more laser focused it becomes. We integrate our chakras, our energy bodies, our organs. Our nervous system specifically it's going into right now. There we go. And integrating your whole entire system in all of consciousness. Oh, okay, great. Integrating the cellular, molecular, because we did that little light infusion earlier. So we want to specifically give that attention. Ooh. Ooh, that rippled right through. Integrating something called the intelligence system. It's how everything all talks to each other and works through a level of intelligence that we don't quite understand, but it's divine. It's all divinely intertwined. Integrating the luminous egg, your interdimensional scaffolding. And one last thing I always like to bring in, which is like a dimensional therapist, it's something called Dave therapy. It's going to go right into that psyche, right into the psychological body, the mental body that really is affected, impacted by our mistrust and self-sabotage. There we go. Yeah, beautiful. So take a moment and just take stock. Check in. How are you feeling? Is there more sense of an inner calm, inner peace, inner stability? Thank you, Divine. Thank you. So now we're going to drop into what's called the truth tree. Truth tree is this, well, the shamans call the world tree, the tree of life. The tree symbol is in virtually every world philosophy um, and tradition. So this tree of truth helps reframe, helps establish and align new blueprints, new ways of being. So what we're pointing at is this hope, this sense of hope. We want to infuse our system with the frequency of hope to build up a coherence, to build up a remembrance. And so I'm going to help again with all sorts of structures. So we're not only restoring, remanifesting. This is a word I use all the time because things coming into form is a form of manifesting, but they already exist right now in your system as this fear, this wound, this hate, this mistrust. So remanifesting says, no, you're not that, you're this. And why is the Divine Mother so important? She is the master remanifester because she is creation itself. Nothing on this planet can be created without a male and a female. You need the female egg, you need the female sperm. It's within everything in life, whether it's energetic or literal. So Divine Mother is creation itself. And our belief in it has been dampened by the things we touched upon earlier. So we're restoring it. This Divine Mother faith in creation itself that has hope, that trusts in that hope implicitly, intimately. So we're going to spend the last 5 minutes bridging in a sense of restored hope and that deep faith, that deep trust that anchors it in, unmovable, grounded in reality, grounded in unreality, great, like unmovable in any kind of situation. This is the kind of hope our leaders and teachers had when they were going through similar things we're going through right now. That's why we're being asked to reestablish our own faith, our own hope, our own conviction, to stand firm in truth. But we can't do it if we have things that topple us, that we don't even know are there. So we call out to the divine. That's what we're doing every week, calling out the divine. Why aren't we seeing divine? They're saying, oh, well, I'll show you. Thanks for asking. But this kind of work isn't popular and it isn't, they call it shadow work. This is a deeper form of shadow work. These are the shadows that even the shadows don't even know are there. So we have to reach into divine consciousness, the building blocks, creation itself. Say, show us. And they say, yes, here it is. Let's do it. Together, you have to ask, they show up. That also is the foundation of hope, right? The trust that this divinity always shows up for you, always, never forsakes you. Again, it may not show up in the way you want, in the timeline you want, in the parameters you want. That's what we need to let go of. We need to surrender into the greater universal flow that has more than you in mind. It has everything in mind. Think of how complex it has to be, the divine has to be to intercede and on your behalf, to manifest, to manufacture and say, here's what Betty wants, and we need to do this and this and this, and that affects this and this and this, and there's just all this ripple effect. It's truly miraculous, but miracles happen all the time. In fact, miracles is something that just hasn't happened yet, that we don't think is going to happen. Believe in miracles, trust in miracles. That's hope. So I'm going to do a little breathing now to create what's called a new choice point, the part of you that truly knows and has chosen hope from day one. So what a choice point is when we come into the planet as a human, we make these series of choices. And these choices, again, because humans have created duality, this separation, some choices are bad. Theoretically, some are good. In the scheme of the divine, there is no good and bad. Everything just is. We just create. Humans have attached good and bad, right or wrong. And we are human, of course. And so this choice point is attached to the you that chose trusting in hope. So there's a new anchor point in your system that intimately knows that you chose and choose hope. Now it's going to take time for that to manifest again and strengthen and what? Integrate through. Because your life is filled with choice points that we need to unravel and that we need to create anew, to re-remember that we are source, that we are the divine. We are divine mothers, we are divine fathers, we are divine children. We are consciousness itself, interfacing with everything. Now that's hope, right? That realization that there's nothing that you can do to shatter that, that everything is as it should be. That level of acceptance can really only be self-realized when we clear all the fear out of our way. And as humans, karmically, when we ground down, universal grounding is about grounding down. We're grounding down through our karma, our karmic history within the earth. We're going to bump into all these places that have said, hey, here's some fear that you didn't see. It's a great exercise. Triggers are a great exercise. But when we ground down enough, we come into this place of self-acceptance that simply knows. This inner knowing that knows that it knows. We call that awareness. This greater expansive awareness. And we're grounding this awareness in the current reality that is this earth. And that creates a flow, this toroidal flow that you see in front of you on your screen. Is you at the center, but there's also a greater earth that has the same toroidal flow within the universe. Now bringing in gratitude to this space, gratitude and love to strengthen the movement we had earlier, to really chip away at that hatred, to really dissolve, and transfigure, and transmute the mistrust that leads to self-sabotage. Gratitude for the hope that's growing inside you right now, that bursts into joy when you focus on it enough. Gratitude. for this experience today. I trusted enough to show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we always end with this. Oh, sorry. So the angel Jophiel sometimes comes in with gifts, and she is doing so now. She's sprinkling you with sparkles, little flames, little droplets, little seeds of hope throughout your system. These seeds of hope will continue to blossom like any other seeds. They're planted in your deepest, darkest places. And as you feed them sunlight, nutrition, love, faith, they're just going to continue to grow. Thank you, Angel Jophiel, little Johnny Appleseed, sprinkling seeds of more hope. What a beautiful gift. She's literally helping you illuminate that beauty within. Thank you. So we always end with a Sanskrit prayer that has meaning. When you translate it, it asks, may we be led from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May there be peace and freedom on the earth, and may we be those conduits. Om Nasatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Yajurmaham Tram Gramya Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Givyo Namaha Hari Om. And the cheering section that is surrounding us right now, and this time period, on this planet, in this space, wants you to know you are loved deeply, just for who you are. You may think you're broken, you're not. You are loved. In those broken bits, that's where the light gets in. It's not just a saying, it is true. So know that you are loved. Taking a deep breath, bring you up and out of the space of grace. And again, bowing my head in gratitude and love. It is done. It is complete. So it is. So it is. So it is. Until next time, be blessed.